Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. I'm Mike with Fowler Family Farm. I got a lot done on that chicken tractor today. So that's what this video is going to be about. It's part 3 of the ultimate chicken tractor build. As you can see, it's not in the shop anymore and it's got a little bit more work done and the wheels have been added. So I started last night, finished up today on what's been finished so far. So let's get right to that video. Okay, I am working on part 3 of the chicken tractor. I've cut some wood, 4 pieces here real quick. I want to turn you around and show you, and then I'll talk about it. Okay, remember, this is still the bottom of the chicken tractor. So this is the top down here. This is where they'll be spending most of their time while they're sleeping, this area between. This is the floor, but this is the bottom of the floor. The top of the floor is right here. This is the top of the floor that they'll walk on. Just so you'll kind of get an understanding. Just basically, we would need to flip it like this for it to be right side up. So I think 4 pieces will be plenty right here to help support the flooring. And then of course I'm still putting the pieces between right here to help hold the mesh in place. I'm still gonna do that part. But this piece and this side piece here is what's gonna help with this, to help support this. See how flimsy that is? So when that's in there, it'll help support that. And that'll all get painted and screwed into place, and then it should be solid. That flooring should be solid. And I'll cut all these pieces as well and paint them and put them in. So hopefully the next part of the chicken tractor you see, all that's already installed and done. I'll save a couple pieces for me to install so you'll see me doing it. That should be a solid floor. All right, so I'm gonna take these off, start painting them. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and start measuring. I probably will go ahead and bolt them in real quick so I can get accurate measurements everywhere. Okay, so before I get too far ahead and forget to explain, I did screw these in. You can see they're screwed in right there, and so are these. So all 4 of these longer ones are screwed in. Now I'm measuring over on all these, and typically it should be right at the same for all these, and they are for this one. This is a little bit longer, you know, a little bit bigger area, not much. And then this is the same as this over here. Now I'm gonna cut all my pieces, paint them, screw them in, and show you the end product so I don't waste too much of your time. Okay, one other thing before we actually paint. I wanted to mention a few things. So let me turn you around and show you again. So this is all my pieces cut, okay? You do not have to use 2x4s in between all this. You can use thin sheets of wood if you want. You can use anything you want. It doesn't have to be wood. It can be some metal pieces that are real light. You can use that 1-hole strap in between that, just enough to get the metal to stay down, right? That's what you want. You want this to be tight, you know, where it won't move. Obviously these aren't screwed in, so it's not as tight as it can be. And another thing I wanted to mention is this one's pretty snug, you know, and like this one is in there. Well, that one's pretty loose actually. That's one of my looser ones. You don't have to be exact with these measurements, right? Because the purpose of this is not to add support this way for anything. It's to hold this in place really well. Because I don't think my staples will last over time. If I just use staples on this bottom and no extra wood to help secure it, I don't think it would last more than a year for sure. I think the weight of the chickens over time would just keep pushing those staples out. So that's what this is for. So like I said, if you don't want to use wood on this bottom part, use some 1-hole strap. I bet that would work perfect. It's lightweight. You can put the screws where you want. Just put a strip down, screw it in. It's going to hold it in place pretty well. I think that might be an option for some people. Or you can use some plywood that's just 1/2 inch thick, you know, and just use some smaller screws. Just put a thin piece of plywood, a 1/2 inch piece of plywood that length across there. I think you'll be fine, honestly. Because like I said, the only purpose is to hold the mesh in, to hold the mesh tight where it won't come off. Okay, so now I am gonna go paint all this, screw it in place, and you'll see the end product. Okay, y'all, so it's the next day, it's the next morning. Actually, it's not even morning, it's afternoon. I have done what I told you. So I painted everything and I've screwed everything down except 2 pieces. And I wanna show you and talk to you how I put these 2 pieces in. But first, let me describe everything to you before we start working. Okay, so again, remember this is the bottom. If you flip it over, This is the top. I just want to, I know I say that a lot. I just want to keep it clear. So if you're new to the video, you understand where we're at. This is the bottom of the tractor. So I did put pieces along the side everywhere. I put pieces on top of what the chickens will be roosting on, because they're going to roost on that piece down there that you can see through the wire. That's what they'll be roosting on, is all those. And you can see this is gonna add a lot of weight to the tractor, but I'm okay with that because I need it to be somewhat heavy because we have very, very strong winds in Oklahoma. And the wheels that we are putting on it make this thing very mobile and very easily movable. So you can see, like, for instance, this is the piece we're getting ready to put in. So you can see where, like, this is exposed to this, right? But if I put this on top of it, it's gonna secure everything down a little bit better, and nothing's really gonna be able to get through this. I mean, you can see now in this corner what that looks like. At the end of this video, if I remember, I'll try to put some suggestions that you guys are already making that I think are really, really good ideas. Well, let's just add one right now. One person mentioned that they would probably cut all the wire, the mesh, a little bit long and turn it into a 90 and staple it up against this side rail right here. Like, turn the mesh up and staple it, but further past here. Staple it on this piece, and then it's more secure that way as well. I think that's a good idea, and if I ever build this again, I'm gonna either do something like that. I'll have that option available to me, and that's a really good idea. Or I could just cut these side pieces, all 4 side pieces. I could cut them in half and do this exact same thing just on the edge of the coop. So the wire would be right here and half of this wood and already secured. So that may have saved me a little bit of wood and probably a lot of time. But as I build this, I'm coming up with new ideas and new things that I could be doing, maybe to make this a little bit better for the next build. So, all right, something else I want to mention is you can tell I still need to add some paint. It does have, like, this one definitely needs another layer of paint. Some of them I painted really well and some of them I didn't. I guess it just got dark on me. All right, let's install these 2 pieces real quick and I'll show you how to do it. Okay, so this is the piece I just put in. Y'all saw it. This is one of the ones that's kind of a tight fit. Okay, so where I can use a clamp, I like to use a clamp. I want this up against the wood on both, on all sides. They're not real tight yet. So we're gonna start in this corner. I wanna bring this piece of wood right here all the way down as far as it'll go. So I use a clamp, make sure that's not tight. I use a clamp to get that all the way down, and then I tighten this one here. Okay, I have 3 different drill guns. One with my drill bit, one with the countersink bit. Doesn't take much. And then I have the hammer drill that does all the work. And now that screw is countersunk in there about almost 1/4 of an inch, I bet. Now I'm gonna do the same thing right over here. I'll just take it off there and bring that piece of wood down as far as it'll go. Tighten that one up. Okay, one last thing I do is add a screw, on this end piece here. I add a screw right in the middle, but from this angle. This one here, I don't use any clamps. It's just hard to reach with a clamp this distance. Okay, so for all these pieces, these little bitty short pieces, sometimes 2 screws was enough. Sometimes I had to like you don't see it, but there's a screw right here, screw it into this one. And plus I put one here because that just wasn't very stable. Again, I'm not using those pieces to support the actual tractor. I'm only using those small pieces to keep the mesh down and tight and secure. Okay, so one other thing I forgot to think about when I was doing this was, y'all see that this is my hole for the wheelchair bolt. So now I got 2 pieces of wood to go through, and I wasn't really thinking about that. My little sleeve is not that long, so I'm definitely gonna use the longer sleeves that I showed in the very first video. Okay, y'all, so the wheel, I've put the wheel on, but I haven't bolted it down. All my bolts and washers are here. Here's the short sleeve. I did run this long sleeve through here, which is perfect, no cutting necessary. So I've got one in there, and I've got the bolt, and I do have the bolt through there all the way, and it won't reach. So I'm gonna have to go find some longer bolts. I don't think I have any. I'm gonna go down to my dad's and see if he has any. I don't think he does either. So I'm gonna run to Lowe's, if not, and pick up a little bit longer bolts. Maybe Tractor Supply, see if they have it first. Maybe Ace. Here in Paul's Valley where I live, we only have an Ace and a Tractor Supply, so I may try them 2 first so I don't have to make the 35, 40-minute trip to Lowe's. But if not, I'll just have to run to Lowe's. All right, y'all, look at that. Tractor Supply had exactly what I needed. Just a little bit longer bolt. It spins like a champ. All right, I want to show y'all me putting this other one on right here, and we'll take it outside and make sure it does okay with all this weight on it. So I'll show y'all. This is what the wheelchair came with, and this is the one I'm using. It's 1 inch longer. This is a 6-inch here. So I'll put this piece on first. It's like a little, I don't know, it keeps the bolt in the wheelchair wheel. All right, so I got the bolt in. I'll put a washer on it. Oh, well, I forgot. I got one of the main things. So I'll show y'all also the sleeve again. This is what came with the wheelchair. This is just something I had. They're the same inside, and it fits this perfectly. Like, that's a snug fit. But we are going to run this through here, and it'll take a hammer to go all the way through. So that sleeve almost covered the entire span of these 2x4s, both of these 2x4s together. It's about 1/8 of an inch short on each side. And I believe that sleeve that this bolt is going through will definitely help protect the wood from wallowing out and just getting larger over time. All right, so then we put a washer on it and the nut. And this nut's a 1/2 inch socket that I'm using, but the bolt head is a 5/8 still, from the same as the other one. Pretty snug. Rolls pretty straight. I'll tighten it a little more. Let's take it outside and try it. All right, Brennan just showed up in perfect time so he could carry this out for me. It's definitely heavier with that extra wood on the bottom, but now you can kind of see the design of it. The metal mesh is the flooring for them. Each horizontal is where they're going to roost. So I've seen chicken tractors similar to this, where it's a small tractor like this, and they can fit 15 to 20 birds in it. I mean, all they're going to do in here is sleep. They're not going to live in it. They're going to sleep in it and get out every morning. That's the purpose of this tractor. It's not for them to stay in permanently. A door, like electric door right here, will open every morning and close every night. So they won't be in this other than to sleep. And so if they are just sleeping in this, I realistically could put 15 to 16 birds in here, probably perfectly fine. 3 to 4 on each horizontal bar. I don't plan on doing that. I plan on keeping 4 birds in here. So it's going to be a big area for them to sleep in. But if I do get more death layers, it's just a little bit more space. I can add some more depth layers to this. So fence pickets, we'll go about halfway where, well, this is 2 feet right here. So fence pickets all along the side and back for 2 feet, and then that whole back. And that'll keep them protected during the winter and the wind. So that'll always be facing the way the normal direction of wind would be coming. So in the winter, it's gonna face the way it is right now, because that's north. So the wind coming from the north, they'll be protected. And the south, during the summer, I'll completely turn it around. Actually be more like southwest wind. So let me show you real quick how easy it still is to move. This did add a lot of weight to it though. This is my weak arm. It's moving it very, very simple, very easy. There's no weight in my arm. There's no weight in my hand really. Very easy. All right, for now I'm going to put a temporary kickstand on it to hold it up level so I can start working from this angle. Such a beautiful day today. It is December 5th or 6th. I can't remember. But I'll put today's temp in there as well, a little temperature map. It is gorgeous out here today. Very light wind. It's not cold. It's not hot. I bet it is about 63, 64 degrees without looking. It's really, really gorgeous. I wanted Tanya to go to Tractor Supply with me earlier, and she said, "No, I'm gonna stay here outside, enjoy the weather." So, all right, let's get started on this. Okay, that's not perfectly level, but it's good enough for me to get a few measurements and start cutting some stuff, and then eventually we'll have to take the wheels back off. Sometimes you need a second hand and you don't have one. Okay, so let me explain this piece of wood. Obviously it helps brace the whole chicken tractor, helps support it, but also it's perfectly aligned with the one below it. So they're in the same spot. One's on underneath, one's on top. This will be my roof that is accessible, that is openable. And this is where I plan on keeping them if it gets down to, say it gets down to like 0 degrees or negative. I want to be able to box them in enough that they're well protected. So I will be able to add a piece of plywood. It'll be painted and protected and, coated where snow and rain and stuff won't hurt it. I'll be able to slide that down in there so that they'll get in here and somewhat be protected from the elements a little better than just out in the open. So my fence pickets will probably come over to here, somewhere in this range, and go all the way around to that other side. This will be a metal roof. It'll be on a slope, slightly angled, right? And then this will all be mesh, just like the floor. This will all be mesh up here. I don't believe I'm gonna have to sandwich the mesh between the 2x4s, simply because nothing's gonna be walking on it. Hopefully nothing's gonna be walking on it. A raccoon or something could eventually. But the mesh will set on top and be well secured. I believe that will be plenty and in a good way. So now I want to add a 2x4 right here, going this way, and it'll go straight down. Okay, I did use pocket holes for this, and I gotta get a different idea if this doesn't work very well, and I think it will. Yeah, that's pretty solid. What? What?
Did he go to stack yet?
No?
Come here.
What is it? Your elves? Come say hi to the camera first.
They moved. The elves moved.
The elves moved?
Yeah.
Again?
Valerie's on the line.
Come here. Come right here next to me. That's too close. I got to zoom in. Put your head right there and say hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
Say hi, YouTube. Hi, Facebook.
Hi, Facebook Walk.
So I just got out of school.
I just got out of school today.
Yeah? Did you have fun at school? All right, let's go see your elves. You ready? All right, let's go.
Come on, you two.
YouTube and Facebook can come with us?
Yes. I'll carry it. Uh-oh,
it's about to die.
Man, I died.
Where? Oh my goodness. She's in the lampshade. That's Valerie, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or is that Crunchy?
No, that's Valerie.
That's Valerie? Where are the other ones? Oh, in the fireplace? Both of them?
No, only one.
Which one's that?
That's Ruby.
Ruby.
Come here. You can barely see Crunchy.
Crunchy. Oh, yeah, I see him.
He's on the calendar.
He's on the calendar.
His hands.
Hi, Crunchy.
Hi.
Oh, his hands are trapped like handcuffs, huh? I see that. They're so mischievous, aren't they?
Yes, so mischievous.
So mischievous.
So mischievous.
Okay, I do want to show y'all. I mentioned that there was another way, another option for me to do this. This is your second option. Now I only did one because my pocket holes, if you'll see, are right here. So I had to go between here just to do it. But let me show you what I did. I will do this other side over here. I already drilled the hole with the Forstner bit. And the reason I like to use Forstner bits is it makes a perfect hole. It digs everything out for you. It's just a real neat hole. Now here, I got started crooked. That hole's way better over there. That one's already done, by the way. And so this is the screw I use. It is 3 inches long. It's a pan, I think they call these pan head screws. Well, I got the box. Let me show you the box. Okay, I had this for a different project. This is what it is. Actually, I don't really know if it does give it a name for that type of head. But anyway, it's 3 inches. I call them pan heads because it's kind of like having a washer as the head of the screw. And this is that star bit too, so. Okay, so as you can see, this screw, if I didn't drill the hole, that's as far as it would go. But I've drilled this hole about that deep. So it'll go in like this. You could go deeper if you wanted. And if you don't do pocket holes like I did, you just do 2 of them, you know. Drill it down to here and do 2 screws. So let me do this one real quick. Okay, so I've already got it started in there a little bit. And I think I'm gonna have to get yep, it's a little, I need a longer bit. I'm gonna go get a different bit. All right, I grabbed me an extension real quick. So once you get done with this, one thing I would recommend is filling this back in with wood filler, like some of your old sawdust and some glue, and then paint over it, level it out and paint over it. You don't want rain to get down in there and just set in it. That's gonna destroy your wood. Okay, y'all, I think that's gonna wrap up part 3 of this chicken tractor build. I'm gonna call it the ultimate chicken tractor. Someone may already have that name out there on YouTube, I don't know, and if you do, I'm sorry. That's just a good name. But we'll keep going with this. Like I said earlier on in part 1, this will probably be a 4-part series, but it's probably gonna be more like a 7 or 8 because like today I spent 3 hours with my dad, helping my mom. And then on top of that, I got physical therapy on my arm. And it's also just too beautiful of a day to spend building a chicken tractor right now. I wanna enjoy the family out here in this nice weather, so that's what I'm gonna go do. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video and make sure you come back for part 4. We'll see you on the next one. Remember, do the good.
Family farm. Come along and ride with us through this life's journey.